diagnosed, you want the information. You might be hearing this for the first time, or even if you've been diagnosed for a number of years, this is still going to be new information for you because this is not the shit you find on Google. I'm Janine, I'm an MS coach, and I have been coaching people for years on how to get rid of their symptoms, just like I did, all the fucking symptoms. 3 tests to confirm multiple sclerosis. You have your spinal tap, you have the MRI, and you have the blood work. And when we're sitting across from the doctor on the worst day of our lives, getting the diagnosis of multiple sclerosis, the doctor, he or she, is sitting across from us and looking at our results. And he says, or he or she says, oh, blood work, MRI, spinal tap. And you think that there's something on these tests that are going to confirm exactly what's going on inside of your body. But MS is a differential diagnosis, which means they have to rule out everything and not be able to explain your symptoms in order for you to receive the diagnosis. There is nothing that they see on these tests that is abnormal. The only thing that is abnormal are your symptoms. And when they can't explain where your symptoms are coming from, then they say, yeah, we have a name for this. When we don't know what the hell is going on inside your body, but you tell us you have XYZ symptoms, then yeah, it's multiple sclerosis. And then, of course, in the years following, every time you go to the doctor and you're like, doc, my eyes are bleeding, they're just hemorrhaging. Oh, well, you have MS, so, that's going to happen. Any symptom that you take to the doctor from that point on, they're just going to throw under the umbrella of MS. All right, that was a tangent. The 3 tests needed are the blood test, the MRI, and the spinal tap. Fucking spinal tap, that shit hurts. The blood work comes back completely clear. When that doctor is looking at your blood work and saying, yeah, confirmed, the blood work is completely clean, that of a healthy person. Your spinal fluid, the only thing that your spinal fluid showed was elevated antibodies. We all know what elevated antibodies means, right? It's just a sign that your body is fighting an infection. Elevated antibodies, your body's fighting an infection. Okay, great. Well, where's the infection? The doctor goes, I don't know. We looked at your blood and we didn't see anything. That's because it's not in the blood anymore. The Epstein-Barr virus goes through 4 stages. In the 2nd stage, it leaves your blood and it heads for an organ. Whatever organ the virus decides to live in is going to give you a collection of symptoms, and it's going to bring you to the doctor, and then you're going to say, I have these symptoms, and these tests are going to come back completely clear. So then the doctor says, oh, well, we don't see a reason for you to have these symptoms. So, we've seen this before in the past, and we've named it multiple sclerosis. The name multiple sclerosis comes from the word sclerosis, which is a Latin word for scars, multiple scars. And that's what brings me to the MRI. So now you're thinking, all right, well, my MRI, he said I have all of these lesions. And I remember the first time I heard the word lesions, I felt like a leper. I felt like I had leprosy, because I went to Catholic school and that was like the worst thing you could ever get. That word is just a scary word for scars. You have multiple scars on your brain. And guess what? Most people do. Most healthy people have scars on their brain. Most humans, 90-something, 5, 6, 7%, whatever the number is now, have scarring on their brain because it's normal. It's common. So then you're saying, well, aren't the scars preventing the signals from going through? And is that why my feet are numb? No. Sorry. No. Plasticity. The very definition of plasticity is the brain's ability to get the signals around scars. It's always going to make a detour to get it around. So then you're saying, okay, well, why isn't my body doing that? That's where the healing comes in. That's what I teach. Your body has a virus in it, which is indicated by the elevated antibodies in your spinal fluid. The spinal fluid is going to be able to show an infection that your blood work can't show. Your body's always going to give you signs of what's going on, what's wrong, and what's right. The elevated antibodies shows you that there is an infection. And because the tests only include blood work to confirm an infection, they can't see it. They don't know what it is. If they biopsied your organs, they would see the Epstein-Barr virus, because almost everybody in the world has the Epstein-Barr virus. So now you're thinking, okay, but not everybody in the world has multiple sclerosis. So why did I get it? All right. There's a set of beliefs going on in your mind. And no, MS is not all in your head. It's a symptom, it's real. But how it manifests in your body is going to be different than how it manifests in somebody else's body. They could have the same virus in their spleen and in their liver. It comes down to root causes. What is the root belief that you have been operating? I'm not going to get into detail in this video, but I want you to understand that it's more than just the virus. If the root belief in your subconscious mind is, I am stuck, I have no choices, and then the virus is going to manifest symptoms to prove that your brain is correct. Because I want you to understand first, there's a physical component to multiple sclerosis, and there's also the subconscious mental emotional component. So if anyone identifies with, I'm stuck, I have no choices, even I'm not lovable, those were mine. I had to get rid of the virus in my physical body. But I also had to get rid of the virus that I call, in my mind. That was the belief that I was stuck and I had no choices. As I cleaned out my body and as I cleaned out my mind and recreated who I was through doing inner child work, working on boundaries, figuring out who I was and who I wanted to be and who I was acting like, all of this work is intertwined, which is why it's called Minding Your Soul. The business is called Minding Your Soul because in order to heal from MS, you have to mind the matters of your soul. The Epstein-Barr virus is in everybody and it manifests differently inside everybody based on the belief system that we are operating off of. This is all science. It's all backed up. And if I've gone too far and I've confused the shit out of you, I get it, because if someone said this to me early in my diagnosis, I would have been like, just tell me what to do. What do I do? It is as easy as following a protocol to get the virus out of your body, but the second part of it is cleaning the toxins out of your mind. So the first thing I want you to do is download the free book in the show notes. It's called MS Healing, the Epstein-Barr Connection. I want you to understand what's actually going on inside of your body. Once you start building the library of evidence that you are in control of how you feel, that's when the work begins and that's when the ball starts to roll. And once you clean out your body, then we go into the mind and we start clearing that shit out too. You don't have to be stuck. You do have choices.